So topic 13 is about the carbonates, or we can also say inorganic carbon chemistry. The whole chapter is all around this first slide. Like you don't find many things. There's just 3 slides are there, but the whole chapter is based on this first slide. First, what we have were limestone. What is a limestone? Limestone is known as calcium carbonate, CaCO3. What are the uses of the calcium carbonate? Calcium carbonate can be used to neutralize the soil, like acidic soil. And when we supply heat energy, if we have calcium carbonate, which is CaCO3, when we supply heat energy, it breaks down into calcium oxide, solid, and carbon dioxide. So this calcium oxide, what we call that as a quick lime. And this is done in a lime kiln. When we do the questions, the structure questions and the MCQs, you will see how the lime kiln looks like. So over extremely high temperature, very high temperature in a lime kiln, the thermal decomposition occur and calcium carbonate decompose to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. This calcium oxide, if we add a drop of water, it's not like too much. Like we have calcium oxide is in a solid state and we add few drops, not too much. So as a result of adding drops of the water to this calcium oxide, it will turn into calcium hydroxide, but it will remain solid. It won't change its, like it does not change the state, it remains solid. And this is called calcium hydroxide. So calcium oxide plus a small quantity of a water turn into calcium hydroxide, but both are solid. And when this calcium oxide, calcium hydroxide solid dissolve in water, like we mix in water or dissolve in water, it become calcium hydroxide, and we call that as a lime water. So lime water is basically aqueous calcium hydroxide, where solid calcium hydroxide is known as the slaked lime. So first we have calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate can produce calcium oxide by supplying the heat energy, and that calcium oxide adding few drops of water or small quantity of water, it become hydrate. It become calcium hydroxide. We call slaked lime, and slaked lime dissolve in water. It become lime water. And this lime water can be used to test the presence of the carbon dioxide. When we bubble the carbon dioxide through a lime water, it will turn milky or chalky. You have to then learn the uses of these 3 compounds. The quicklime calcium oxide, it is used to make steel. From iron, it is used to neutralize the acidic soil, and it is also used as a drying agent, means it can also absorb the water. Slake lime calcium hydroxide, it is also used to neutralize the soil. It is also used to neutralize the lakes which are affected by acid rain. It is used to neutralize industrial waste, acidic industrial waste. And it can, example, flue gas desulfurization made by calcium oxide to water. So basically the gases which are like sulfur dioxide gas, which is given off to the atmosphere, can be neutralized by reacting with calcium oxide in water. So we call that as desulfurization, or the flue gas desulfurization. Then calcium carbonate, what are the uses? It can be used to manufacture of the cement. It can also be used for manufacture of iron, not manufacture, basically extraction of iron from its ore. Then the carbon cycle is there. So the carbon from the atmosphere, the percentage of the carbon in the atmosphere can be reduced by a process of photosynthesis. So because of photosynthesis, amount of carbon dioxide reduced. Then these carbon compounds which are there in the plant, maybe animals might eat those plants, and when these animals respire, they will give out carbon dioxide. So because of respiration, the percentage of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere will increase. Or the carbon compounds in the plants also respire at night, so they also increases the amount of carbon dioxide. Or when the animals or the plants, when they die, the bacteria which are feeding on the dead animals or the plant, that will also release this carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Or these carbon, like plants, it might turn into a fossil fuel such as coal, oil and gas. And when this coal, oil or gas we burn, as a result of a combustion or burning, we increases the percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So due by respiration or combustion, the amount of carbon dioxide is increased, but because of photosynthesis, the amount of carbon dioxide will decrease. So this is the carbon cycle. So the important chemicals which you have to learn, number one is calcium carbonate, number two calcium oxide, and number three is calcium hydroxide. Now we'll do some questions related to this carbonate, so you will understand the topic. So this assignment is related to carbonate. The structure questions, MCQs are there. Mostly you will find MCQs, but there are few structure questions as well related to the exercise or related to the chapter. So the first one, limestone is heated to form, limestone is calcium carbonate. It is heated to form calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Which statement is not correct? So carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas and it can cause a climate change or global warming. Yes, that's true. That is correct. Slake lime or calcium hydroxide is used to neutralize the industrial waste. Yes, even we can use calcium hydroxide is used to neutralize it. That's true. The lime can be used to treat the alkaline soil. That is wrong, because the slake lime means, when we use the term lime, it means calcium oxide. Slake lime, calcium hydroxide, and the limestone is calcium carbonate. So we can use all of them to treat the acidic soil, but here it is written they are used to treat alkaline soil, so that's why it is wrong. Alkaline, we don't treat alkaline soils, we treat acidic soil. The reaction is an example of thermal decomposition. That's true. How we identify it's a thermal decomposition? One reactant and more products, so it means this reaction is thermal decomposition. So C is not the right statement. Then calcium oxide is used to treat the wastewater from the factory. Which substance is removed? So calcium oxide is a basic oxide, and basic oxide can react with acid. So which one of them is acid? Ammonia is not an acid. Sodium chloride is not an acid. Sodium hydroxide is not an acid. Sulfuric acid. So that is an acid. That's why that can react with metal oxide or basic oxide and neutralized. Which process is used to make calcium oxide from limestone? So how to prepare calcium oxide? By thermal decomposition of limestone, calcium carbonate, it produces calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So that's why D is the right answer. By thermal decomposition, the calcium carbonate, limestone turn into lime and calcium carbon dioxide. A student is asked to draw a diagram showing the use of the limestone. Which numbers are correct? So making a cement, limestone can be used to make a cement. That is true. Limestone can be used to make a lime. Lime means calcium oxide. Lime here is not a lemon juice. It is calcium oxide. And add with hematite in the blast furnace. That's also true. That calcium carbonate decompose to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide, and that calcium oxide reacted with acidic impurities such as silicon oxide to form slag. So 1, 2 and 3, all the uses are correctly labeled. This is a lime kiln. The diagram is representing This one is 2 here. This is 1, this is 2, and this one 3. 2 is not printed, but that is the second part, 2. So in the lime kiln, what happened? What leaves at X? So we burn the fuel. As a result, we have a limestone. So when we burn the fuel, the limestone will decompose into lime, calcium oxide, and carbon dioxide. So lime is a solid. So from where lime will the calcium carbonate decompose into calcium oxide. So lime will go out, and the carbon dioxide is a gas, so it will escape from the top. So the question is, what leaves the furnace at X? So that is lime or calcium oxide. Because calcium oxide is a solid, so due to the thermal decomposition of a calcium carbonate, it will leave from the bottom, and the carbon dioxide, which is a gas, escape from the top of the furnace. The substance X is used to treat the industrial waste. So pH 4 means it is an acidic waste. For treatment of acidic waste, what we can use lime, calcium oxide, we can use lime, slate lime also use calcium hydroxide, or we can also use calcium carbonate. So what is X used here? So it can be calcium oxide, it cannot be carbon, so that's wrong. And what kind of reaction is this? Because these are metal oxide or basic or base, and this is acidic. So when acidic substance reacted with a basic substance, what we call this reaction, we call that as neutralization. So this reaction is example of neutralization. Or when acid react with the base, we call that as neutralization. The diagram shows again a lime kiln. The calcium carbonate is there. This is calcium carbonate, CaCO3. When we supply the heat energy, it will break down into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide gas will escape from here, and calcium carbonate is added from the top. So which row identify the position X and Y? So what is X? X is not a limestone. This is X is not a lime, it is a limestone. Because the product, when you have calcium carbonate, it decomposes into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So calcium carbonate is CaCO3, which we add from here. Due to heat, it decomposes into calcium oxide, lime, and carbon dioxide gas will escape from the top. So the gas which escape is carbon dioxide, and what is added from X, that is the limestone or calcium carbonate. So C should be the right answer. Then the diagram shows the pH of a soil over which vegetable grow well. The pH of a soil to be used is 5.5. Why is lime added to soil before planting the vegetable? So as you can see, the pH of the soil is 5.5, so it is acidic. So if it is acidic, what will happen? It will, the vegetable can grow well when the pH is around 6.5 to 8. So but the soil is around 5.5. So we want to neutralize this soil, we want to reduce this acidity. So the lime change the soil acidity, it will make less acidic, so the vegetable or the plants can grow well. But it's like different plants have different nature, like the pH at which they can grow. That's why we don't find the same type of plants all over the world, as the soil pH is different. When compound X is heated, it changes the color from green to black. Compound Y is formed and a gas is given off, which turn lime water milky. So lime water turned milky, it means carbon dioxide gas is there, so it means it should be carbonate. So it cannot be D. Then what carbonate should be there? What kind of carbonate? Because it's a colored compound, whenever you have a colored compound, it cannot be group 1 or 2 carbonate, group 1 to 3. So it cannot be A. So we are left with B and C. So if we have copper carbonate and we supply heat energy, what is the thermal decomposition of a copper carbonate? It gives copper oxide and carbon. dioxide. So this copper oxide, this is black in color, and copper carbonate is green in color. This is there from the metal chapter, that when copper carbonate is heated, it gives copper oxide plus carbon dioxide. So copper oxide is green in color, where copper carbonate is green in color, and copper oxide is black in color, which give off carbon dioxide that turned lime water milky. So the colored compound gives an idea that there should be a transition element. And lime water turned milky gives an idea it should be carbonate. It cannot be any other compound. The diagram shows a lime kiln. So we add a limestone, the product. So limestone is calcium carbonate. When we supply heat energy, it will give calcium oxide, and the waste gas will be carbon dioxide. So the product is calcium oxide and the waste gas will be carbon dioxide. So B should be the right answer. In which process the carbon dioxide is not formed? Burning of a natural gas like hydrocarbon, that will form. Fermentation is when glucose, basically sugar solution, convert into alcohol and carbon dioxide. You will learn this in organic chemistry, the next chapter. Heating a lime. Because limestone is different. Limestone is calcium carbonate. When you heat, it produces calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. But heating a lime means calcium oxide. Calcium oxide does not decompose. So that's why C does not produce carbon dioxide. And respiration also, we produce carbon dioxide when we respire. Which process does not produce carbon dioxide? It's the same thing. Uh, Fermentation produces carbon dioxide, respiration, and production of a lime from limestone, because limestone decompose. But treatment of acidic soil, when acid react with base, it is not producing a carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is produced when dilute hydrochloric acid react with, so acid react with carbonate will give carbon dioxide. So that's why C is the right answer. Then this is a repeated question. Two industrial process involved in extracting iron from its ore and making a lime. Which process calcium carbonate use? We use calcium carbonate in extraction of iron, and we also produce in extraction or manufacture of lime, because lime is calcium oxide. By thermal decomposition it is produced, and calcium carbonate decomposed to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. That calcium oxide react with silicon oxide to form slag. That's how we manufacture iron. So these are some questions related to the carbonate topic, the assignment related to carbonate. Mostly MCQs are there, but there are few structured questions as well. Any question or a doubt related to this topic?